Woo-wee! Welcome back to another episode of Upper Room with Eugene. The music's probably too loud, but that's okay. We'll turn it off in just a moment. And today we'll be talking about what seems to be missing in the world today, and that's love. And today to help me with this conversation is my dear beloved brother, the Reverend Charles Hall.
There's some love.
That'd be some love. That's right. You gotta love yourself, right?
Love. Little b-boy self-love.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good day, everybody. You know, so the reason why I wanted to speak about this one, man, is because I'm watching, you know, how everything has been flowing for the past 5, 10, 15 years, probably a lot more than that, right? But it seems to be up in our face more so now with technology the way it is, and everybody has a camera and all of that good stuff. And there's so many popular things, right? There's the new iPhone, there's the new Netflix movie, there's all of the stuff that's popular, you know, and some of the stuff I'm seeing online, man, is just crazy.
It's entertaining.
It's entertaining. It's entertaining. It's popular. You know, I think it was Dr. Ernest Holmes said that people would rather be entertained than healed.
Deep and true.
Deep and true, right? But you know what's not popular? You know what's not as popular? And this is what's missing? Is this thing called love. Right? Because if for me, I mean, this is just my personal opinion. Although my opinion matters, nobody else's does.
That's right. Hey, that's why you create your own. That's why we create our own platforms, man, so we can just share our opinion, brother. This is your platform. Opine, baby, opine.
Is that it is love that is missing. It is it is that element within our humanness that's missing, which is causing all of the separation, all of the strife. I was doing some research, because you know how much I love music, right? And this thing about love being missing has been sung about for years. 1965, Jackie DeShannon. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Right? The Beatles. All we need is love. Right? See if you remember this. Good morning or evening, friends. It's your friendly announcer. I have serious news to pass on to everybody. What I'm about to say could mean the world's disaster. Can change your joy and laughter into tears and pain. That is, love is in need of love today. Stevie Wonder, 1976.
Stevie.
All right, so we're talking about 40, 50 years of people who have been singing about the need for us to bring love back.
Yeah. Bring it back, recognize it, participate with it. I mean, it's always going to be a yearning and a longing for us because it's who we are. So the greatest pains we experience are when we're not in the natural flow of something, and the natural flow is love.
Yeah.
Which shows up in many different ways. It also shows up as acknowledging our trips and falls and our woundings. You know, that's love. You know, when my daughter acts a fool or falls down or hurts herself, I don't really condemn her. I love her, you know. So what we've become real busy with is condemning ourselves personally and in our communities for mistakes, for, you know, all these things that we got no business condemning ourselves for. love is necessary.
Yeah.
So, and so another part of that is drama has an addictive quality to it. You know, we feel something from drama. You know, we feel better than, less than, you know, all of these things. And so you mentioned, you know, the videos online and the Netflix movie. And by the way, I am entertained by all that stuff. I dig it. That's the truth. But, and I need to keep my attention focused on love as well, you know, on what that means. And what is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more. All right. I'll leave the singing to you, bro.
Baby,
but what is love?
But what is love?
But you start to unpack it, and it's, what was that song back in the day? More Than Words. If you couldn't, something about if I couldn't say I love you, you know, it was that acoustic song with those two dudes, I think, with their guitars. Mm-hmm. And it's a good song, a little corny, but really good. It's like, if you couldn't say the word, what would you have left? You'd have an expression of it. You've had other ways to express it, you know. Love, just the word love can be, we get lazy with it too. But what we're really talking about is appreciation,
right?
And giving, and recognizing the beauty and the brilliance and the good and those types of things. And that's an active practice. And so there is a missing of it. We can always have more of it. You know, there is love present. Let's be clear about that.
True.
There is love present, and there's always room for more of it.
Right.
And so one of my prayers is, let me have eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart that perceives the love that is present. Because my lower level vibrations find it very easy to see the otherness and the unkindness and those types of things.
I'm going to use that to flip that to myself. Right? To seeing the unkindness within me.
That's right.
Although maybe I may not consciously know that, so I project it.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
That's I heard a long time ago, man. I've always been grateful since I heard it, that the only relationship we have, I don't know if they said it exactly like this, but this is how I've taken it on, is the only relationship we have is the one with ourselves. That's it. And everything else is a projection of that. Like the world becomes a holographic projection, like on the holodeck for all you Trekkies out there. You go to the holodeck and you experience, you know, it's a projection of your consciousness and what you desire. And so when I'm in those states, man, I project unkindness, and that you're not my brother, that you're the other, that you're not my sister. And I don't act like I care, because I'm in my selfishness and getting my needs met in my, and I, rather than the we of community and the us, which is where more love lies. I can be an incredibly selfish human being, brother. Incredibly selfish. That's one of my kind of, kind of that baseline curriculum human beings work with, you know, like I can be an incredibly selfish person. I'm just thinking about my needs and getting my needs met and how everything affects me and all that. And when I'm in that, I'm not in a place of active love for myself or for the world. And so that prayer of vigilance of let me have eyes to see and ears to hear and a heart that perceives goodness and appreciation and love helps me. I'm like in the garage, man. I'm in the God's garage of my own being every day, you know, getting tuned up. And that's what's necessary, because there is a pretty, significant gravitational pull to, fuck you and fuck that guy and, and what's wrong with you. And here's what's wrong. If you don't know what's wrong with you, I'm about to tell you what's wrong with you,
Right.
So we got to stay vigilant to tend to our own garden. That I have to stay vigilant in tending to my own garden, man. And that's the work. And it takes an unwavering, a non-negotiable personal commitment to personal taking responsibility for my life. And that's a hell of a task sometimes, man.
Yeah.
But doorway to freedom. Go ahead. Yeah.
It takes courage, right? And I have to be responsible. And responsibility, as you probably know, right? Like for a lot of people, is is a tough thing to do. It's a tough thing to take on, responsibility.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
however, it's really not as hard as they or as I used to believe. Because I don't want to be responsible. But there was something I heard about that word years ago. You're right. Responsible is being responsibility. It's having the ability to respond. Now, where am I responding from? Am I responding from a place of hurt, fear, or do I choose to respond from a place of love and compassion?
And that's taking responsibility. There's a song by The Roots from a long time ago. If you don't know The Roots, from 1996 on their album Illadelph Half-Life. It's called Respond, React. And that's a distinction that people talk about in spiritual circles all the time. Am I responding or am I reacting? Reaction doesn't include a pause. Fuck you. Fuck you too, man. You know, fuck you. All right. Okay. Well, let me take a deep breath and just kind of take that fuck you in. And all right, how do I actually want to respond? Ability to respond, right? I have dominion. I've got some self-awareness.
Right.
And it's an important distinction, brother. It's an important distinction, you know, that taking unwavering responsibility. That's the doorway to my freedom, though. Peace. That's the doorway to peace right here. It's interesting, just real quick. I like to watch. So I maybe mention this every time I'm on with you. Every time being, this is the second time. So every time of the two that I enjoy golf. That I enjoy golf, right? So I watch golf on TV. I'm one of those nerds. And what I love about golf, man, is that when these guys are the best in the world, when they hit a bad shot, watch. If they hit a shot that isn't where they want it to go, like most of the time, the first thing they'll do is they'll look down at like where they hit the shot from. And they'll like, damn, there must have been something wrong with where the ball was. There must have been something wrong with my lie because I can't possibly hit a shot that was that bad. You know, like, oh, there must have been something fucked up with where this thing started. Well, you had all the time in the world to assess the situation where it was starting from. You had to assess that shit, man. You know where it was starting from. So, like, take responsibility. You hit a bad shot. You know, I hit a bad shot. Let me take responsibility and respond and make the adjustment that I need to make for next time, right? That's taking responsibility.
Yeah.
And it's a very holy place to live from, man. Holy, H-O-L-E, and holy, you know, like the whole of me. I got to bring the whole of me in and be responsible for the whole of me. Like, I'm aware that I can be selfish. I'm aware that I can be vindictive. I'm aware that I can be addicted. I'm aware, you know, like let me be aware of all these. It's not even like a darkness. It's just an aspect of me. You know, I can be an asshole, man. I can be an asshole. Okay, well, let me be more aware. So there's less times I'm being an asshole.
Right.
You know, so anyway, that's what I can control, brother, is how much love I bring into the world. And so if I'm a victim of of there not being enough love out there someplace, it's a call for me to be more loving. That's it. It's not a call for me to wake them up to be more loving. I got no control over that. I got control over this. And brother, I love to control everything. I'll try and control anything. But that's a whole lot of anxiety and not very much peace.
Right.
So let me just stay at home. Someone said a long time ago, what was her name? The first time I ever heard it was from a gal named Dawn Joyner. She was Michael Beckwith's assistant.
Oh, yeah.
She said, let me just keep my nose on my own toes. I'm like, all right, I can get with that. Let me stay at home. I think she said, Charles, just keep your nose on your own toes. I'm like, yes, ma'am. That makes sense. Yeah. Man, that was like 21 years ago. So anyway, yeah, word.
Yeah. You know, speaking about back then in that particular vibration called Agape International, man, what a beautiful experience, right? And I talk about Reverend Michael and being the dynamic speaker. And one thing is that to see him on the platform is one thing. To have him in class is something else, right? But that's not where I'm going. Ricky. Having the opportunity, because I was on staff at that same time, as Don was his assistant. And I was Ricky's assistant. And so I got a chance to really watch how Spirit worked through her in terms of the music. And we're talking about love. And you know the song that she has, right? Trust Love. The lyrics in that, no one ever loses when one trusts love. To live and to love is to be in the holy breath of God. Like, where do you come up with this, right? But as we trust love, for me, what I take from that, and trusting love, let me trust the love within me. Then as you said, seeing through the eyes of love, I can't control what people do. I control how I respond to them, how I see them. Right. Yeah. From that place of love.
That's right. Love and yeah. I mean, Ricky's music it's healing, right? It's from a place of the way it's the notes. It's not just the word; it's the notes.
Right.
I saw recently someone said that I'm reading this book, and in it says that somewhere roughly 2/3 of Jesus' teachings were about forgiveness. That says something, right? So Jesus, pretty popular dude. Most people know him, whether you've been around religion or not. You probably heard of Jesus. 2/3 of Jesus' teachings are about forgiveness, and that is love. I mean, at the end of the day, that's it.
At the end of the day, it's all about love. So if 2/3 were about forgiveness, well, then his entire ministry was about love.
Yeah, and all the ways that shows up. So we could break down all the different ways. So how does that forgiveness show up as love? It's not keeping tabs, and I'm good at this too, man. Keeping tabs on all the ways that people did me wrong, man. I've been done wrong over and over again in life, man. And it's not keeping tabs of that stuff, right? It's not vindictiveness, and it's not revenge, and it's not even like the little petty gossip that I would have about other people. It's like, man, it just takes an incredible amount of insight, practice, meditation, prayer, wherewithal, all sorts of different things that we need to be a conscious human being that lives from a place of love, man.
Right.
I mean, it takes an immense amount of internal work, because the gravitational pull of the human condition is dense, man. It's thick. It's got viscosity. And what is the human condition? It's caught up in drama. It's caught up in the 5 senses, man. It's what I can see, smell, taste, hear, and touch. See, smell, taste, hear, and touch.
Yeah.
Right? So the work and that's drama. That's drama. That's our life experience. That's traffic. It's school. It's studying. It's the job. It's parenting. It's all of these things. And the 5 senses might tell us about love from time to time if we see a kind act or hear a kind word. But most of the time, it's just caught up in the drama of life, man. It's like this TV show, right?
Right.
But when we're taking time to like commune inwardly and to listen and to meditate deeply on one of Jesus' teachings of forgiveness, or somebody else's insight, or a song from Ricky Byers, or what it might be, we actually get more information about what it means to be in love. I mean, we actually see the real movie that's going on. We cut through, Ernest Holmes called it the veil. We start cutting through the veil and see the harmony that's happening everywhere, like a real harmony. like you take it to like, outside of a global level to like a space level, or what's happening beyond this earth, that stars are born and stars die, and there's implosions and explosions and black holes that suck gravity in. And, like, I don't get the sense that they're, black holes, like, fuck you, star, I'm going to absorb you. And the star's like, no, bitch, don't do it. I'm pissed. Like, it's just the way shit's unfolding.
Right.
So there's a practice of looking at nature to see who we really are. We just have this capacity for emotion and feeling and interpretation and all of these things that confuse the process, which is why spiritual practice is so important to be able to perceive harmony. That's my opinion.
And that's so very powerful, though. To love myself enough to not put myself in the position to be a victim. To love myself enough to wake up and go, okay, let me not allow that to happen. Because what I've learned long ago is that I teach people how to treat me. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that for the longest time, and would wonder why people were treating me the way that they were doing. But now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that all of my life was like blah blah blah. No, that's just a small part. Because most of my life is fantastic. But that brings up something else for me. Do I love myself enough not to focus on that small part? Or can I say, screw that, let me keep going here?
Well, even in the screw that, there's a denial of an aspect of self. So the parts that perceive that I've been done wrong, or that are wounded, or that are, spiritual walkers, there's a vanity in the spiritual path that says, I did this for a long time, having started my own community. You get up on a Sunday morning and I can deliver a sermon for 30, 40 minutes and then go home and be in the deepest depression. I can show up and teach a class for 3 hours once a week and then go home and be in a deep depression. I can be spiritually vain. I can put on a face. Am I spiritually maturing enough to be able to bring in the parts of me that feel less than, that feel like I've been a victim, that feel the tragic aspects of me, the tragedies, it is not all good all the time, man. That's not the human. It's not, I could whoop up a sermon that will like have you emotionally high, like you just smoked, not just the crack pipe, but like all the crack in the world, man. I can do that over the course of 30 minutes. But is it real? Is it authentic?
Is
it healing? Would I rather be entertained or healed? And I think that's something that we need to reconcile, so when it's good, I love taking stock of when it's good and things are peaceful and they're beautiful. But again, part of it goes back to a perception that there is a harmony. And so within that harmony, the times where I'm feeling disgruntled or irritable, discontent, that divine discontent, lost, alone, it's purposeful, man, that there's still purpose in that.
Right.
So I either call love in for myself if I can and commune if I can, or I sit down with my buddies Ben and my buddy Jerry and I get busy for 45 minutes and do some love that way if I need to. Or, I have a team if I can't remember who I am. My buddies used to be Jameson and Jack. And homie can't do that anymore. Won't do it. So now I got to have my team in place, the people that I know can remind me as well, So if I can't be at love, let me get to love somehow.
Yeah.
And there's times when I can have the awareness that, I do live within a universal order and a harmony. And this guy, Charles Hall, today is not having a very good day. And no one can tell me that that's not spiritual.
Right.
That's some bullshit. That's bullshit. No one can tell me that I'm out of alignment with spiritual principle when you're having an off day. That's some old, along with vanity, that's blame. And that is out of integrity as far as I'm concerned. So, man, we got to bring love would say, bring all of it into my storehouse. And let me, the body's a magnificent thing too, brother. I'll eat some food, and then my body knows that the waste that isn't necessary goes somewhere out, and that the nutrition that's necessary stays in. And what's more than that is my body knows exactly where to send it, bro.
Is that amazing?
Come on, man. You didn't create that. I didn't create that. That's G to the O to the D.
Man, speaking of D-O-D, have you checked out, this goes back years, KRS-One, God? If not,
maybe. Let me look it up. I haven't. What would we listen to? My daughter just found, that's the sound of the police. I'm like, how did you get that song? That's the sound of the police. I'm like, where'd you pull? Yeah. Maybe I have. Let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah, man. Powerful, man. Oh, I didn't think about it, and I would have played that. But I guess I need to look at copyright infringement. But
if it's on YouTube, I think it's public record, or what do they call it, in the public domain. Once again, word up, KRS-One, by the sound of the track, who's back. It's the teacher, philosopher of conscious rap. Rappers tired of me saying where hip hop is at because they know they're unoriginal. Huh?
That's not the one, though.
It's not?
Nope.
Take It to God? No?
Nope. It's just called God. Yeah. It's on the album Streetlights, or Under the Streetlight?
Streetlight. Yeah, Streetlight.
Yeah. Oh, man. He talks about just this, God, G-O-D, guiding our direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good orderly direction, I've heard as well.
Yeah. Anyway, so I don't even know why I brought that up, except for to say that, when we talk about scripture and God is love, right? And then coming back to that there's no separation, right? So when I teach classes, especially my prayer class, and I say, if you don't like the word God, cool. There's very good reasons why people have this negative response or reaction to that word, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then if you don't like the word God, then put in the word love.
Yeah.
Or peace.
Absolutely.
Or joy. Yeah. Oh, there's more. If I'm one with God, then that means that I am one with love. That I am one with peace. Or how about one as God, or as peace, or as love.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
God, God's got just the word has so many assumptions that come along with it.
Right.
As soon as you say the word God, everybody's got their volumes of their own interpretation, their own experience. I'm a big fan of getting rid of the word God, just the word. If we struck the word God from our vocabulary in any language, what would we be left with? How would you describe your relationship with it? What would you describe your experience of that power, that presence, that whatever it is? I'm a big fan. Speaking of Beckwith, at one point he, did a sermon about hitting the reset button, what would happen if we hit the reset button on the word God, just got rid of it. All the assumptions, there's so many assumptions and things that go along with language.
Right.
But what if we did, man? What would that heal the planet? How would that help? So if we take away any assumption with it, what would happen if we need to dive deep into what that thing is and actually create a renewed relationship with it. Get rid of the assumptions and press the reset button and start all over again. Love would be at the center of it.
Yeah. It reminds me of this time where I was meditating in this cabin that I lived in the mountains of Denver. The cabin was sweet. Oh, and I'm outside and I'm meditating. I'm in my breath. And I had the question, what is breathing to me? And I took that question into meditation for 3 or 4 days. And then finally, on day 5, the answer came up. So what breathes this breath? Love. Why? Because that's my question. Why? So that love can experience life through me. It's like, whoa. So then it just kept going. That it is love that causes the sun to shine. So that it gives the earth life. So that love could experience life on the planet. So it all comes back down to love. Yeah. Reset. On that word God.
Yeah.
I love that question. What would it be like then? If we got rid of that word?
What I really admire and appreciate about the what you just shared about your meditation and the breath is that you came to your own awareness about it.
Yeah.
That it came from within Eugene as the spirit reveals itself to you, that is authentic, natural, real, authentic, spiritual insight, universal insight that's making itself known through you because you made yourself available for it, right? And that's where love makes itself known as well, not from somebody else. Like we can guide each other, like love might look like this here, a kind word and things like that. But anytime we have that authentic, raw insight for ourselves, that's embodiment, that's revelation.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that story, brother. It's beautiful. Yeah.
That was deep for me, man. So gosh, as usual.
Time is up.
Time's up.
Hope you had the beeper out. I kind of let the loose lips. Pamela Morgan. We both know Pamela Morgan, right? She used to tell me all the time, Charles, loose lips sink ships.
In other words, shut up, boy.
So anyway,
yeah,
I hope you got the beep out.
Well, on my side, I have the clock that ticks. Tells me how much time we've been on.
Yeah.
But I want you to I'm going to leave with this, to repeat that question regarding the reset.
So in my practice, my wonderment has been lately, if I strike the word God from vocabulary, what am I left with? And so then I extend that out beyond just me, because I'm arrogant like that. And I say, what if humanity struck the word God from all of our vocabulary? What would we be left with? If we reset our idea and got rid of all the assumptions about God, would that heal us? Would that clarify things? Would it break down barriers of entrenchment? Would it dissolve some entrenchment that we have about what's right and what's wrong? Would it cause us to deepen our awareness and our relationship with that thing so that we can redefine it or reacquaint ourselves with it? An idea that I've been just meditating with and being with.
Yeah. So everybody, I'm inviting you to take that question into your own practice, whatever that may be, and see what comes up for you. Charles,
can I share with? Yes. I'm focusing and working right now on building my private spiritual counseling and development practice. And I'm looking for individuals to work with that are really committed to transformation and change and growth and development. Specifically, and a certain number of clients are really willing to go deep and shift and transform themselves. And so if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, I'd love for you to send me an email to chall@ebthec.com, chall@ebthec.com, and we can talk more about a program and rates and things like that. The letters EB and then the word the and then the letter C.com, chall@ebthec.com. If that's something that interests you, if you're ready for transformation and to experience a greater freedom of your life. So thank you, brother, for letting me throw that commercial in there as well.
No problem. Give me that email again.
C Hall, C as in Charles, Hall, Hall, C Hall @ebthec.com.
What'd I do?
That's it. Damn. You did it. That's beautiful. Appreciate that.
Technology, bro.
I appreciate it.
I love it. All right, my brother. Thank you so very much, people. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of The Upper Room, where we continue to raise the conversation, to raise the vibration, because we are all in this thing together. Peace and abundant blessings.
Much love, brother. Much love, everybody.